It's right there, right on top of the bronchi. You gotta get that. How's everybody doing? I'm getting much better. Remember, and it's because I still drink every day, but instead of 5 or 7 drinks a day, and I do 1 drink a day. And the 1 drink I have a day is the one that I have on the air with you. So we could hear it. So I'm much better. I'm taking it easy. Um, Today we are going to talk about. Well, first of all, I read your responses about the cardinal cross: Aries, Libra, Cancer, and Capricorn. And I hope you guys have an understanding of the fixed cross, of the cardinal cross. When the cardinal signs lead the angles. Okay. Understand that they're the movers and shakers of the zodiac. That's the phrase that you gotta connect with the cardinal signs. Cardinal cross or cardinal sign, semicolon, movers and shakers of the zodiac. What is a mover and shaker? Those who initiate action, active fire, active air, active water, and active earth. That's where the word cardinal, from Latin, cardioro, corio, it means heart. The word cardinal in Latin means the heart. You know when people are fighting, they're in the street and they go, "Oh man, yo, B, this guy got heart. You got heart." They're talking about being passionate about what you're doing. When you have heart, you have passion for what you're doing. Another term for that is called cardinality. And the cardinal points represents the heart of the zodiac wheel, which is governed by these 4 cardinal signs, will open the seasons and cause the order of mundane events. They shape mundane events as they occur on the earth. Cardinal signs, the cardinal cross. So now we are going to move into the fixed cross. The fixed cross is the scaffolding, like a building. You build a building. That beat, when it hits, I got to keep it moving. So the fixed signs represent the scaffolding. Your building. What's the scaffolding of your building? Under the sheetrocks and the bricklayers, on those the scaffolding that make up the building, you need the sheetrock, right? The plaster. You need Masonic construction workers to build the structure, right? Masonry, which is why the Masonic order, the symbols of Mason are fixed tools, which symbolizes the fixity of its mission to maintain and sustain the status quo. So, but that's not the only scaffolding of that building. That's the physical scaffolding, right? The actual cement, the bricklayer, the sheetrocks, the sheath, and the aluminum covering of the pipes and of the wiring, and the padding that has to go when you do the tubing for the wiring, right? And the heating system, it has to be done in aluminum. The electrical system, the piping systems, right? The irrigation system, right? The sewage system. These are systems. They're part of the infrastructure. You cannot have a building without a piping system. So when you shit and piss, that can go somewhere, right? That gotta go somewhere. The lights, you turn them on, click. Wow. Click. We gotta have a series circuitry and a parallel circuitry. Series circuit, and then you have a parallel circuitry, which runs throughout the whole building that goes to each apartment unit. These are the scaffoldings. These are the stuff that makes the building work. So this is the scaffolding. The fixed signs represent the scaffolding of the zodiac, the actual structure, like this beautiful, roses, which I bought for myself, right? Because if you don't love you, then you can love nobody. If you want to attract love in your life, love yourself. I buy myself roses every week. You know, I love me. Well, you all know I'm a little bit of a narcissist. But I come from a background of abuse. So, and abuse can break people, break souls. Thank God for my Aries moon. This box is tough to break. And to nurture and heal myself from the traumas of abuse of all types, I reward myself with the beauties of nature, which produces and sustains my healing. And yellow, the color of the sun, Leo. No. Ah, there you go. So understand that the signs of the zodiac represent the scaffolding. But that's not the only scaffolding. That's the physical scaffolding. Okay? That's the physical scaffolding. Then there's a spiritual scaffolding. And that spiritual scaffolding comes from the blueprint of the architect that designed that building. Ah, you didn't see that one coming, did you? Why is it spiritual? Because the architect, who is you or me or the person who owns the building, is God. Remember, we are God in human form. So, imagination is the real live concrete matter. It's just not carbon matter like material matter is concrete thought. Concrete thought gives rise to the physicality that you see around you. Abstract thought can lead to concrete thought manifested if you put enough energy into your thoughts. When you put a lot of energy into the same thought, it eventually becomes a reality. So understand that you are the grand. That's what they call Jehovah, the grand architect, or God. Another name for him is the grand architect, because he's the one, the God of form, Jehovah, who gave form to the universe through carbon matter. Well, now things are tangible. Things are tangible. No, we can see, taste, feel. No, this is physical reality. But there's a scaffolding behind this physical reality. And there is a spiritual counterpart to the scaffolding that we see physically, to the material objects that helps create a structure like a building, like I just described. So the blueprint of the architect is the other scaffolding, because the thought comes first and then proceeds by manifestation of that thought. So understand why I'm taking time to describe this. If you really want to bring about your thoughts into reality, you better have a lot of fixed signs in your chart. If you have a lot of cardinal in your chart, then it's not going to come automatic. You have to be trained to develop the thoughts of quieting your mind enough that you can sustain the thought, a secular thought, to bring it into reality. You also, the cardinal signs is the spark, the germinal seed for the idea. The idea becomes manifested in two ways. By abstract, you think of something, but then you let it go, because we think of so many thoughts every day. Can you imagine if every thought that we think about becomes real? We'd be in a whole mess of trouble, right? So the universe doesn't allow us to manifest our thoughts that quickly, because our minds are constantly changing, and our mind doesn't stand still enough for us to give that kind of energy to manifest a thought. That's not the job of the cardinal signs. That's the job of the fixed signs, is to give form to their thoughts and give it enough thought energy that it becomes unreal. But that means also working towards it. You have to work towards it, not just think about it, give it energy. You just have to work towards it. That's the whole premise behind the book, The Secret, where it talks about that thoughts can become real. And that book is revolutionary. But what the book doesn't tell you is how to do it. How to do it. Because if you're not used to maintaining one thought for a period long. Can you hold the thought for 2 minutes without anything interfering in your mind? Can you do that? If you can't do that, then you're not ready to manifest anything yet. You haven't trained your mind to stand still. So like that you can give vision and energy to your vision, which you're moving from the abstract thought to the concrete thought. There's a lapse here. And that lapse here depends on the level of your awareness and training, or what it will require for you to get to that point. So the guy could be wide or could be thin. Some people can manifest their thoughts quickly, but they've already trained their mind for many, many lifetimes, like gurus, monks, Tibetan Buddhists. They can manifest their thoughts like this, like this, like this. But to be a Buddhist monk, Tibetan Buddhist monk, don't think that you're going to wake up one morning and decide to be a Buddhist monk. You have to be born with that spirit in you already. It is a timeline, a trajectory that can go back eons and eons. Remember, there is no measurement of time because in the realm of the upper worlds, time doesn't exist. It only exists down here, in the astral, and then down this world below. So there is no even relative viewpoint of time. It doesn't exist. So understand that the reason why we are taught to train our minds to bring about our thoughts, the reason why we are in carbon matter is to train our thoughts to develop slowly and methodically. You cannot do that if you're not in carbon matter to slow down the vibrations to give it enough form and sustain it, and then boom, it becomes physical manifestation of matter. The fixed signs. Oh, the beat. Oh, salsa. Aye. Of course, I cannot be having fun without my Grand Marnier spritzer. With orange peels, Dominican drink, all natural, with a little pep. It's Saturday. No, right now I'll be out dancing salsa and somewhere. Oh, do you remember them days? Them days are gone. In the 80s, the Leo generation. I was in clubs that, oh my God, I was a mess, a hot mess. Ooh, ooh. I got lost for a second. What was I talking about? Ooh, ooh. Okay, so understand that, how can I put it? How can I say it? Let's start with, well, I told you what the fixed signs represent when it comes to the physical, right, manifestation, the actual meaning behind it for the zodiac wheel and the spokes or the fixed spokes. But now let me tell you what it means esoterically. What does it mean esoterically? Well, if you're born with a cardinal cross, just let me jump back to that for a minute. If you are born with a cardinal cross, you're here to do something. You're not here to sit on your ass and do nothing. You're here to do something. On a large scale, cardinal, you're here to do something. If you're born with a fixed cross, you could do something and make a name for yourself. But that's not why you're here. You're here to learn about yourself, to discover who you are. And that can happen in the process of any kind of experience that you may go through or life may throw at you. You're here to discover yourself. The fixed sign of Taurus gives structure to our earth. It sets the boundaries for our ocean so the oceans don't overrun the earth. It spins in a particular rotation at 23.5 degree tilt. If it moves a little more, it'll be disaster here on this planet. So life is very delicate, very, very delicate. The Goldilocks zone where our Earth is, the third rock from the sun. If we are to move at least 2 inches away from that Goldilocks zone, We can go into an ice age. We can go into cataclysm. Life is very, very delicate. This is Taurus. The Earth spinning and tilted on a particular axis, sitting on the Goldilocks zone, where it's neither too hot or neither too cold, but just enough to sustain life because it is a delicate balance. This is the fixity nature of Taurus. The Earth is not free falling in space, isn't it? It's sitting in the fabric of space time, right? It's sitting there. The Earth is not falling. It's fixed in space, like there's a string hanging, suspending on it, right? As well as all the other planets. This is the fixity nature of the scaffolding of our universe, symbolized and represented by Taurus, the actual physical manifestation of form. In this case, carbon matter, which of course is reflected all around us. Thank you, Taurus, for giving us the platform for us to experience this experience we call life. The grand soap opera of all soap operas. Taurus, fixity of Earth. Scorpio. Scorpio represents fixed water. And we can take this deep, as it always is when we're dealing with Scorpio. Scorpio represents the fixity element of nature, not just here down earth, but also above in the heavens. And the Lord moved among the faces of the waters, and the earth had no form. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. It's a verse in the Bible. What water are they talking about? There's no earth yet, right? And the earth was without form. And God moved upon the faces of the waters. There was no water then. So what water is that Bible talking about? Ooh. That's, I get caught up. I'm Latin. No. Love being born in this culture. Okay. Understand that the primordial waters, that's another term for it. The primordial waters that come out of the first swirlings of the Ein Sof. Now I'm going real deep now. Kabbalistic stuff. But understand that the primordial waters that the Genesis, because the verse is found in Genesis, that is talking about, is referring to the waters of space. The ethers. As above, so below. So if we have ocean down here, which is water, what is the representation of ocean that we have below up in space? Well, it's called ether. The ethers of space. It's not carbon matter. It's made out of another substance. And it's not the scope of this video for me to describe it. But I do describe it on my website and on my classes. You know, for those of you who are interested in my classes. And I discuss in detail what these substances are that create the other worlds outside of carbon matter. Well, this scaffolding belongs to Scorpio. The veil behind the veil. The mystery behind the mystery. What lies behind the sun? We've been everywhere. We have not been behind the sun. What's behind the sun? We know what's behind Earth, in front of it, and all the other planets, even Pluto, which is way below, 17 degrees below the ecliptic. Pure darkness. The planet Pluto is ice. It's all ice. Maybe that's why Scorpions are so icy when they can be sometimes. But we don't know what's behind the sun, do we? That mystery is represented by Scorpio. Fixed water, the primordial ethers of space. On an esoteric level, this is translated through emotional fixity, just like a lake or a pond or an aquifer, which is a lake underneath the earth. A reservoirs is water that doesn't change. It's water that doesn't evaporate. It's water that doesn't sustain life. And if it does sustain life, only a particular species of life. Nothing can evolve outside of what's already in that pond. Fixed water. There's no water coming in, no water coming out. The same with the emotional vicissitudes and tempestuous nature of the energy of Scorpio. Todo tiene su final. Scorpio also represents the ending of time, the ending of what we know to be the reality as defined by carbon matter, as material scientists like to let us know. Fixed water, Scorpio. So too is the emotional nature of Scorpio, fixed and uncompromising. Scorpio on the ascendant. Then we have the other axis. Leo, the beauty of creation, the lights of space. All these lights and this fiery and shooting stars and rainbow and the burning fire of the sun and the light of the full moon, anything that's luminous is Leo. The representation of that light is represented by the molten core of iron inside the earth. The inner sun of our planet is the iron core, which is fiery. That's the inner sun of our planet. And then the sun is the outer sun of our solar system. The heartbeat of our planet is the iron core of fire. That's the heart. That's the fire nature of Leo within our planet. As above, so below. So we have a fiery sun. That's the heart of our solar system. The heart of the solar system and the heart of our planet, the iron core. You see the similarities? You see the similarity? As above, so below. So the earth is a living, breathing entity with a heart of its own. The iron core. Just as the solar system is a living entity and the heart is the sun. You see? And we have a heart right at the center. Right? Our heart is at the center. The molten core is at the earth's center. And the solar system, the sun, is at its fixed center. As above, so below. Oh, knowledge is terrifying, but terrifyingly beautiful. This is where we get to the edge to understand a little bit the nature of God. Ooh, how terrifying that truth is. Oh no. Who can see God and live? Leo, fire. This is fire. My amber, the drink, the flowers, my roses, the yellow, reflecting the light of the rays of the sun. The seventh ray. And there are many different kinds of rays. Aquarius. Aquarius, which is the opposite polarity of Leo, represents that which is beyond our solar system. And we don't know what that could be or what that is. Extraterrestrials, alien invasion, gods from different solar systems, spaceships, internet, you know. The scaffolding of the universe is not what we think it is. We only know what we know because we've been awarded a certain amount of intelligence to understand the whole nature of God. Now, not to understand it and everything around it. Our souls in human bodies cannot handle that kind of knowledge. It'll make us insane. We'll lose our minds. We'll go crazy, catch a stroke or something. So Aquarius represents something that we have not yet seen, that we have not yet experienced, but we will since we just entered the Aquarian age. And maybe in this age, we are going to experience the actual visitations of extraterrestrials. Oh, they've been here. But I'm talking about that they can actually make themselves known. Like the movie, what was the movie? Independence Day with Will Smith. That's gonna happen. They're doing you gotta take my classes on the mystery of these movies. But we are done with this segment.